And this afternoon, Joy News is learning of an imminent power outage which may be taking effect from the 1st of April. This is because the Ghana Gas Company is announcing that it will be shutting down the turbo gas pipeline on April 1st. The blackout is expected to last for 14 days, and there's a joint statement being released by the Electricity Company of Ghana and the Ghana Grid Company. Let's bring you excerpts of what it is that the company has been indicating through its statement. It reads that the Ghana Grid Company Limited and the Electricity Company of Ghana wish to inform the public that due to maintenance works being carried out by the Ghana National Gas Company at the Turbo Gas Processing Plant, gas supply for power generation has been affected. Consequently, there will be approximately 150 megawatts of power generation shortfall, which will reduce the total power supply for distribution by ECG until Friday, the 7th of April, 2023. In this regard, there will be minimal interruption in the power supply to some ECG customers across the country, and will therefore issue an outage timetable by Friday, the 31st of March, to inform customers. Accordingly, Gridco and ECG say they regret the inconvenience being caused by this exercise. But what's likely to be the impact on the energy sector? I want to bring in Dr. Suleimana Yusuf, who's an energy strategist, joining us via Zoom right now. Thank you so much, sir, for your time here on The Pulse. The blackout is expected to last for 14 days, but given the reasons that we're getting from the Electricity Company of Ghana and Gridco, are we likely to go beyond the 14 days?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Blessed, and good afternoon to you and your cherished viewers in Ghana and across the globe. Yes, this is quite unfortunate, if I put it that way. But first of all, I think I'll commend these two key institutions, ECG in this case, and then Gridco. I mean, they are the key players within the power sector. You know, in addition to the producers, or those who produce power, the IPPs, and then in terms of power producers in general. So yes, to that extent, bring out that communication to the extent that such a thing is going to happen is commendable. Now, but from where I sit, if you ask me, Blessed, could this have been avoided? Yes, I think we could, but not from the ECG side and not from the Gridco side per se, because they are just the obstacles of gas. In this case, the supply of gas is what is short. And in fact, I think there's little they can do about that. Now, going forward as a nation, we need to strategize. Blessed. Gas has been a commodity that is very good for power generation. If you remember where we have come from, we've moved away from using liquid fuel to generate power into, gravitating from using liquid fuel to gaseous fuel. Now, if you remember the time Ghana Gas came on stream, the time Ghana started producing oil, and then the time Ghana Gas came on stream, there's a huge gap in between. Now, what were we doing in this case? From the time we started producing oil, when we knew that we had so much gas, reserved within our shores, that was a bit of a problem there. However, when Ghana Gas came on stream, the capacity of Ghana Gas wasn't that enough, or at this moment it's not that enough to be able to even take advantage of the huge quantum of gas that we have within our shores. Let's say we are boasting about 1 million or 1 trillion, standard cubic feet of gas within our shores. That is so huge. If you quite remember 2019, we had some we had some production in terms of our oil production. We had oil production setbacks because of the issue of our gas offtake, because we couldn't take this gas from the fields. And usually in oil production, we are not able to offtake the gas. In fact, it impacts the optimization and productivity of the wells. So that aside, I think going forward, why I'm saying that it could have been avoided, assuming we had multiple streams of Ghana Gas in this case, and we should have it by now. My understanding is that we have another stream coming on, planning to come online. That has to be faster. That has to be faster enough, because such things like it could come again. And so, assuming we have multiple streams of Ghana Gas, when I say multiple streams, different segments of Ghana Gas, so that when Ghana Gas is going to shut down, there isn't going to be any power interruption to the end users. That would have been great.
All right.
So we have not had that But I'm told that we have something coming up that is commendable, and then we just live to see that.
Okay,
Yeah.
the elephant in the room has got to do with what transpired in 2014, the dark days, as it being referred to, as to whether or not Dumsor is returning. We'll get deeper into that, but I want to hear from William Boateng, who's the Director of Communications for the Electricity Company of Ghana. Mr. Boateng, are we clear now on the areas that will be affected out of this exercise? William Boateng, if you're with us, kindly unmute. And I wanted to know if you have the areas mapped out and how soon we're having the timetable out. Okay, it appears.
Yes. Good afternoon to your viewers. Yes. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear now, sir.
Good. Right. Yeah, the timetable is ready. The schedule is with us. In the next 30 minutes, we will release the schedule. And that will be soft, and then we will work out something on Saturday because it's bulky. We need to talk to the newspapers to give us space. So we need some additional space for the schedule to be published.
Do we know the areas? Will this just be in the Greater Accra region, or will this go beyond the region?
Oh, it's across all our operational areas. So all the regions where ECG operates, the southern zone of Ghana. So we are talking about Ashanti region. We have Western region, or the two Western region and Western North. We have Water-Uti, Central, then Greater Accra, including Tema. So we have Accra and Tema. Of course, Koforidua. So we are talking about the southern zone of Ghana.
And what we're looking now at from the statement is that this is expected to last for some 14 days. Are you saying this based on your predictions, or this is a fixed timeline that we're dealing with?
Well, this is a fixed timeline we are dealing with. It's a fixed time, yes. Because the industry players, we met and then we were given the shortfall and the entire program. So we know what we have done so far is what the industry agreed on.
But so these are just projections based on the agreements you have with them, with the various sector players.
Oh, well, if you want to use the word projection, but it's not projection. This is a definite timetable. They are doing the maintenance works at Tuabu, we know by now, and we have been informed. This is not the first time you are talking with experts, and they are on the ground. And so we know that based on what we have discussed with our Honorable Sector Minister, we are setting that on the final day, which is 14th of next month, will be done with this load management due to the maintenance works at Tuabu Gas.
And in times past, what we were used to was the usual 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. load shedding table. What's going to be different now about the approach you would adopt for this load shedding exercise?
This one is minimal. If you look at what we went through years back, because there's been a lot of efforts put into ensuring that we don't inconvenience our stakeholders, the good people of this country. So basically, we have A, B, C, so 4 groups in each region. 4 groups in each region. So A, B, C.
Mr. Boateng, it appears I'm losing you intermittently. You are talking about 4 groups. You're saying we'll have...
Yes, 4 groups in each region. Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay. So 4 groups in each region. So if you take today, group A is going off day. Then all the group A's in all the regions will go off. Do you understand?
Right. So it's even taking effect from now.
So the grouping is A, B, C, D.
Right.
Accra, A, B, C, D, Tema, A, B, C, D, Ashanti region, A, B, C, D, Central. So today, the grouping is said that is going off between p.m. only 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. That's about 5 hours off.
Okay.
Then you have
Mr. Boateng,
3 days
yes.
of electricity.
Okay.
Then you go off again. Load management period.
Mr. Boateng, we lost you. Yeah, we lost you on that point again.
Okay, so let me repeat.
Yes,
let me
right.
repeat.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, with this technology, we are saying that you'll be off for 5 hours and you'll be on for 3 days. That's going to be the general rule.
So okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. So groups in groups A, B, C, D, you'll be off for 3 to 4 hours a day, and you're starting that from now, where of course we're expecting that these affected areas will be off for at least 5 hours. Sorry.
Hours, yes.
5
hours.
hours.
Have power for the next 3 days.
Okay.
We have power for the next 3 days. So group A will go off today, and the next time group A will go off will be on Monday. So today is Thursday, they'll go off, then they'll go off again on Monday. That's group 8, all the group A's in the regions.
If there's a caution or an advice to the general public, what will that be? What would you want the public to prepare for?
Oh, well, I am on, but let's say we know that we are going off on this particular. That's what's good about this particular schedule. We give you the timetable, or we are going to give you the timetable moment from now. You know when you are going off, you just plan towards the particular day of the outage, especially in the evening. Because there will be no lights in your area, you have to be very cautious and think about your security and the security of your community. I mean, that's the most important.
Okay. Mr. Boateng, thank you for your time. Unfortunately, the lines were not too favorable. I'm sure that we'll get the full timetable from you and publish that at my Joy Line and also all of our social media handles. But thank you, Mr. Boateng, for your time here on The Pulse. Back to you, Dr. Yusuf Suleiman. So it's clear now that what the ECG is carrying out will be, quote, a minimal load shedding exercise. At least that's how they are calling this. But do you predict the impact to be severe?
Yeah, so from what they are saying, provided they stick to the timetable and the communication is clear, I think people should be able to plan. My only problem is I think they could bring the timetable as early as possible and make it very clear and send their representative in every affected area to communicate to them in clear terms, especially the timeline is very important because we are talking about business continuity planning here. Once they go off from this timetable, I think it's going to be very bad. And the other thing also is I think it's contingent on the fact that the work should be done seamlessly or smoothly within the time frame. If Ghana Gas can finish the job within the time frame and ECG they are able to communicate well, I think the population should be able to plan, to be able to accommodate this. But going forward, I'll just say that this brought to bear against on what we have always been calling about what we call power security or energy security, and they hinge on 3 main pillars. We have energy affordability, energy dependability, and energy availability. In this case, it's clearly that we have been affected by energy availability just because of something else that is happening or a kind of planned work that is supposed to take place. So we have to try our best to champion these 3 in terms of building our infrastructure, like what I mentioned before. Let's build up Ghana Gas, let's increase the capacity of Ghana Gas, let's have multiple trains, so that in situations like that, I think the population will not be subjected to this inconvenience. So if there's anything that everybody fears, I think we all know 2004, 2014, 2015, it wasn't a pleasant experience. So it's therefore not surprising that whenever people hear of doomsday, we'll have a lot of uncertainties or some fears running through us. So, but I just believe that, and I believe and hope that they are able to stick to the timetable. And if they do, I think the populace should be able to, absorb that.
The Energy Ministry describing this as doom CACA. In other words, they are halting the process and making things better. Do you see that happening? Or what we have is similar to doomso, just like we had in the past?
Yeah, so if the call is to, if the projection or the call is to probably halt or put a little bit of breakage and make the situation better or the asset liability improved, I think that's the way to go. The key thing is that we should have an improved infrastructure. If you let's say if you break down for a kind of maintenance like this, and at the end of the day, after the maintenance, we haven't had any value for the time, that we have wasted in doing the maintenance. That is not going to be acceptable. So yes, important to make the system resilient is not a bad idea. The only thing is that we should plan for future. We should plan for the future. We'll make sure that we don't unnecessarily inconvenience the populace, because at the end of the day, power to the end user is key, to our survival, to our daily activities. And if it's interrupted, I think it's going to impact, our daily life seriously. Yeah.
Okay, then we'll leave it here for now. We'll reconnect later on. Dr. Yusuf Suleiman, thank you for joining us. And we stay on the Electricity Company of Ghana because 3 individuals who used to be employees there have been slapped with 20 charges bordering on money laundering and power theft. Let's get more from our court correspondent, Joseph Akable, who's joining us now. And Joe, what are the issues relating to this very case that we're hearing of?
So the 3 employees are said to be staff of the ECG who teamed up with 7 other individuals. Some of them work with the company Electrometer, that is into the sale of prepaid credits. Then others are also private distributors of the prepaid credits as well. Now, the claim is that these individuals engage in a scheme, a very simple scheme that sees credits being transferred to the vending points. Then once the transfer is done, it's deleted. And so if the ECG is to check its system, they wouldn't see that Blessed Soga has been given 10,000 cedis worth of prepaid credit to sell. Blessed nonetheless sells the credit, gets the 10,000 cedis, then shares the 10,000 cedis with this ICT supervisor. We are told he is at his ICT department at the head office here in Accra, and they share the money with him. And so that's a scheme that started sometime in 2017 when Ali Nancy Shaibu, a computer programmer at the ICT department at the head office, had gone to the Volta region to fix a prepaid problem over there, a connectivity challenge. It was while fixing this problem that he devised a scheme with one other accused person. And once they transacted that business, they got huge sums of money. And then it became a scheme that was deployed in other parts of the country. And we are told that so far, the estimate in terms of what has been deprived of the state is 2.1 million cedis.
And we need to state that, for instance, this is coming up because of the company's heightened watch on revenue mobilization, correct?
That is correct. In fact, this is part of efforts to ensure that persons who fall foul of the law by way of the affecting the operations of the company are dealt with. We are actually told that more than 200,000 cedis have been retrieved from these individuals. Again, they've identified houses and cars that the state prosecutors believe that they were acquired using the proceeds from the electricity or prepaid credit theft. And that is what is accounting for the charge of money laundering that has been leveled against them.
And Joe, how about the software that is being manipulated? How is the scheme working like?
And so what they do is that once the request is placed, so for instance, you make a request, ordinarily they are supposed to transfer prepaid credits to the vending point. 10,000 or 20,000 is sent. Then immediately the transfer is done. The one who does the transfer deletes it immediately. And so the records will not show any transfer has been done. Nonetheless, the vendor has the access to this credit and proceeds to sell the credits. And so whatever amount of money he makes from that sale is up to him and the individual who transferred the money to him through the deletion of the transfer from the system. He shares the money with that particular individual. And so that is how it was operating. So it wasn't the case that it was a hacking of the software system or a permanent manipulation, but it was done as in where such transfers were done. Then the deletion was done to cover their tracks. But eventually, ECG says it received a complaint through one of its officials that indicated that he had detected this particular matter, leading to the investigation that was taking place and coming to the point where the state has decided to press charges against them.
Is there a caution from ECG or maybe an assurance that this will not break down the entire system?
We are told that this is not a matter that has any impact on the current system as it's being operated. What our sources within the Attorney General's Department also indicates to us is to the effect that they are bent on working hand in hand with the Electricity Company of Ghana in the coming days, and there are a number of such cases that will be prosecuted. And so people who are engaged in such theft, they should be on the lookout, knowing very well that their days are numbered, and once their actions are detected, the state will file charges against them.
Joseph Agable, thank you for your time. He's our court correspondent. Well, from the courts, we'll be taking you to Parliament shortly. The MPs are locking horns again on 3 key revenue measures. We'll give you some updates when we get back. You're watching The Pulse.